Welcome to another episode of Chop Meat Podcast. It's Philippe and Jamie over here. We also have a special guest today. His name is Jose. Let's welcome Jose.
Thank you for inviting me, guys.
So I'll give a little bit. So I know Jose maybe like a year or two now, something like that, right? Met him through a mutual friend, and we've traveled together. We've been to some seminars together. Clink. I've talked to him about different stuff too, specifically real estate. I passed some of my deals by him, but let's start with give us a little background. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Puerto Rico. I was born in Puerto Rico. I was born in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Came to New York when I was 5 years old. I lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant, and then I went to Sunset Park and Bay Ridge. I grew up in Bensonhurst.
So the nicer side of New York.
Yeah, not bad. Not Bedford-Stuyvesant. Bedford-Stuyvesant was tough. Got beat up many times in Bedford-Stuyvesant, but I learned.
That's it.
Did you speak English when you first came over?
Yeah, I spoke English. All Puerto Ricans speak.
Puerto Ricans don't speak Spanish.
They don't?
Speak Spanish. They don't speak English.
Nobody Are there any Puerto Ricans that actually speak Spanish? Or
Yeah,
no?
but they stay on the island. They don't
say
go away.
that. You got New York Ricans and Puerto Ricans.
Yes, that's it.
So what made your parents move here?
Opportunity. Back in the 50s and the 60s, Puerto Ricans were taxi drivers. They owned the bodegas. They were tobacco pickers up in Massachusetts and Connecticut. So there was a lot of opportunities in the United States. So they migrated here and for opportunity. And they came here, but I had the best of both worlds because my winters and during school time, I was here. In the summers, my parents used to ship me to my grandparents' farm. So I got that good balance of life, the country and the city life.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, so you were in Brooklyn then, and then did you go to school? Did you college? Or
I went to Fort Hamilton High School. And Fort Hamilton, I was mixed up with the wrong group. And when I was, 17 years old, I always had that desire. I wanted to be better than anybody else. And I hanged out with the wrong group. And my mother said to me, either you're going to go right or you're going to go left. You decide what you want in life. So I got a scholarship to Pratt Institute to go and learn art. So I did that for 1 year. I said, I don't make no money as an artist. So I said,
Not while you're alive, anyway, right?
So I say, let's go to, I want to be an architect. I want to build things. I think in those days, we didn't even have Lego. I don't remember. But I said, I want to build something and maybe I'll become rich. Went to college, went to City College, learned architecture, graduated, got my job. First job I got, I was making $18,000. I was a gopher for gopher for gopher.
What year was this?
$18,000 now is like...
Yeah, back then it was probably...
Okay, 18,000, those now price 50,000.
Okay.
But I worked for one of the largest firm in the world, which was SOM, Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. And then they put me out to do approvals on shop drawings and submittals. And I worked that, but I had the opportunity to go out to a construction site. At the construction site, I said, wow, this is incredible. This is what I want to do. These guys are making money. I know that. They're making money. So I met a gentleman there who I didn't realize was the owner of the company. He said to me, hey, kid, you look like you're a hustler. You want to come work for me? I'll pay you $35,000. I said, $35,000? Shit.
You just doubled up.
I just doubled up.
Just by showing up.
I'm rich. So I went to work for him, climb up the ladders real fast, but I wanted knowledge. I always say knowledge is power. So he says, listen, if you're willing to learn, you're going to get opportunities here. You're going to move up the ladders. I said, okay, I'm going to move up the ladders. I learn every type of construction, every cross your T's, dot your I's, and gotten all those opportunities. Then I said to myself, I'm going to get myself out there. So he said to me, you want to learn how to estimate? I said, sure, I'd love to learn how to
Project estimate's good. That's who controls the whole project right there.
And big constructions. So I worked, one of my biggest projects I ever worked was in Trump Tower. Worked on the interiors of Trump Tower. That gave me the opportunity to open doors. Worked on that project for 2 years. Then a headhunter came to me and says, hey, I have a Japanese client that's looking for someone, and the job pays $90,000. I said, fuck, $90,000.
Tripled up.
$90,000.
Now you're really rich, bro.
I said, wow, I hit the jackpot here. So they said, but they're willing to give you a 3-year contract, and they're willing to give you big bonuses if you can make money for them.
What year was this? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember this. We in 1990s. Okay. So they hired me as the chief estimator for the company. I running numbers, and I used to sit in a little cubicle there at the window, and I said, when the hell are we going to build something? We're going to do construction. But then we're putting the whole entire team together. So I did that, and they put the whole team together. I said, okay, I'm going to learn. And they came to me and they say, one of the biggest Japanese builders in the world is Takanaka International. Worked there. And I moved up the ladder, became the executive vice president of the company. I was the third guy down the ladder. The money that I made, I think today's individuals do not make that type of money starting. And I was making 6 digits, but very high 6 digits. But we go back up, and I think I was 27 or 28. And I'll tell you a story how you realize how much money you made because you don't focus. I went and did my taxes with an accounting firm, and my accountant says, I'm sorry, but you got to pay a lot of taxes. I said, a lot of taxes? I paid $1,000, $2,000. Fuck, I didn't know how much it was. So he said to me, says, no, you got to pay a lot. I said, what the hell is a lot? Like $90,000. I said, $90,000? How much money did you make? He says to me, you made over $1 million. You made $1.2 million. That was your salary. I said, nah, you're wrong. He said, no, I'm not wrong. I said, W2 here. You got bonus checks. I said, holy shit, I actually became a millionaire. But I humbled myself. I was driving a shitty car. I didn't want, I used to have suits for $99 suits. Go to 34th Street, buy myself a couple of shirts and a couple of ties. I just wanted to look good.
Yeah.
We got to dress for success. I always say that. So then, in that industry, I worked for the Japanese for 6 years. When the Japanese closed shop because they wanted to go back to Japan, I decided to open my own business 30 years ago. And I always believe education is power. And it's not what you know, it's who you know. You could have the best, nicest T-shirts, nicest uniform, the most beautiful office.
Jamie has
and you could dress beautiful and nice cars and everything. That's not going to get you no business.
Yep.
It's the person you know and who you associate yourself with and who you're going to hustle with. And I remember that I met a gentleman and he said to me, kid, I got a project. You need to hustle this project. So I said, how much can I make? He says, maybe we make 150 to 200 weekend. I said, what you got? He says, I got a hole and I got to fill that hole up. And they want to make it into a parking lot. I said, oh, that's what you want to do? I said, okay, we're going to do a handshake. Not like today, we got contract, we shook hands. I filled that hole up with concrete debris and with dirt. So I was double dipping. I called all the construction companies. I say, got a hole. You guys want to get rid of your dirt?
Yep.
Your fill. You bring it here. They were dumping. They were paying me $200 plus making all that. We went. We filled the hole. We had the trucks going back and forth, day and night, down Route 4, over the George Washington Bridge. I knew all the garbage companies. We brought it in, filled up the hole. Not bad for a weekend's work. Made $250,000. $250,000, I bought my first house. And when I bought it cash. And I had already bought properties, but I bought properties with my credit card.
Where was the first one you bought?
Teaneck, New Jersey was my first residence. Not my co-op, not my condo. My first real residence was in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Like single family.
Single family.
For yourself?
For myself and my family.
Got it.
And
You're married at this point?
I was married at that point, yes. And I still was, didn't have no kids. I had my first son in Teaneck, New Jersey. And I decided to, I said, well, man, I got to hustle. So I associated myself with influential individual. And those individuals say, hey, Jose, I got this opportunity. And I was the type of person that if I fell down, I picked up myself and, you know, you learn from your mistakes. And I rarely had mistakes. I was lucky. I was in the right place. I had cojones. And then everybody says, hey, you're hanging out with this group, that group, give me an opportunity. I say, the opportunity's there. You don't want it. That's your problem.
Yeah.
You know, you got to grab it.
You gotta go get it.
So I started, you know, hustling out there, and I saw that I was making money, and I was tripling my money, and my assets were getting bigger and bigger. My company got better. You know, it's incredible that you could say that you got a company now. My company's going to be 30 years. And knock on wood, I got very loyal clients. Those clients, it's all repeated business. You're as good as your last project or your last customer. I always say that. If you treat a customer good, the customer will come back again for more. And I remember when we bought our first office building. My buddy came to me, my friend Gary, says, hey, Jose, you want to invest in this property? You know, it's a group of guys going to invest. How much you have to invest? I said, 75,000. You got 75,000? If I'm doing it, you should do it. I said, sure, I'll do it. Hell no, why not?
Said yes.
I say yes. I went in. I invested in 75,000.
I gotta have my own board over here, Marvin, so I can go
Clink.
ding, ding.
Take notes. There you go.
So I invest 75,000. And
That's what 75,000 sounds like. By
Okay.
the way.
Ding, ding.
It's easy, right?
So that 75,000 became 150,000. So the group says, hey, we got another property to invest. I said, put my whole 150,000. The hell with this shit. Put
Roll
the
it over.
150.
You already threw it in there.
Put it in there. Fast forward, we have over $1 billion in asset. We have owned over 25 buildings, office buildings throughout the country. I've gotten that opportunity. I invested with the group. And I still invest every week. I may have 1 to 2 deals. I could do a deal for 100,000. I could do a deal for $5 million. My philosophy always has been that if you scare, you will never succeed. And if you fall, pick up yourself and you do it better. You learn. Every type of business has a problem. And being successful is finding a solution to that problem and a way how you're going to make money. And you take it apart and you say, well, you know, maybe we're spending 2 pennies on the bags. Maybe we should spend a penny on the bags. How many bags we use a year? 10 million. Oh, so we could save 5 million. So that's the way you look, how you put things together. A lot of people drown themselves in a glass of water. And
Good.
no, it's the truth.
No, I'm saying that's pretty good.
It is.
They drown themselves in the water.
I'm gonna make a
They
shit.
panic. Oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to enjoy about my business. Every day I got a problem. And it gets tougher. And a problem. This person may owe me money. There's a problem. We got to get this project done. But there's a solution. If you're very transparent with people and you're fair to everybody in doing business, you will always be successful.
Correct.
It doesn't matter. And that's what I always tell everyone is say, hey, be very transparent. And if you fall, get up and find a solution to the problem.
Let me, a couple of things you said. I wanted to for you to finish. So when you were talking about your house in Teaneck, you said you bought your other ones with the credit card.
Right.
Explain
Okay, so when I was young and I used to live in Brooklyn, and I went and I bought an apartment on Ocean Parkway. Guy told me, I give you this co-op for $25,000.
Was this your first?
First property, $25,000. I had a credit card clean. I could take money out. I think they had pre-approved me for like $5,000. And I said to the guy, call the credit company. He says, oh, could I take money? I said, yes. Yeah, it was 9%. 9% in those days was a lot. Or 13, it may have been 13%. So I went and I bought the co-op with $5,000. I lived there, I rented,
Yeah.
and I was doubling my money what it was costing me. When I went to Teaneck and I put down $250,000, but I bought the house for $400,000, I had to get a mortgage. Got a mortgage from Campbell Soup, American Can Company.
It's better. Just when you think you can't get one anywhere else.
American Can Company gave me a mortgage. I think it was 9% in those days. I said 9%. Now we all make a big deal.
That's
Mortgages are now 8%.
9%.
You know, like 9% now,
Spoiled.
8%, and we're spoiled. But, you know, and I said, you know what? Hell, so what if I'm paying 9%? I got a home to live in. I got a home for my future. And real estate always increase, never decreases unless you wind up in some shitty neighborhood and that's your decision. But you either break even or you make money on it. And that's the way I looked at it. I said, you know what? The hell with it. I got a place, nice house, nice neighborhood, nice property. It was a Center Hall Colonial. $400,000 in those days, probably $1 million today.
Over $1 million.
And you're making. I always say that don't count your money. Never count your money. Always go out there and invest and invest and invest. When you get to my age in life and you say to yourself, shit, I went in there and I bought that car without no problem. Why? Because I planted the seed when I was young. And by planting that seed and you gain all these opportunities, you move up the ladder. And now you get the fruit of life, like I always say. And you get bigger opportunities and you invest. Listen, now that I'm working on my future is for...
It's funny that he says now that he's working on his future, not before, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy don't stop.
Now, what I'm saying the future is my grandchildren and my children. I want to leave a legacy. And you should never forget where you come from. You never should forget your friends. Just because you have the money doesn't mean you're better than somebody else. You should be the same person that they knew 30 years ago. Humble yourself. You got to learn to humble yourself. You know, a lot of people don't know who I am, and that's the way I want it to be. I want to know that you treat me like anybody else. You don't have to treat me special for who I am, because I'm not better than you, and you're not better than me. And when we cut each other up, we bleed the same color. It's bread, right? We all have red blood, unless we are Martians or something. Seriously. You know, just because you got more money doesn't mean that you're better than me. Yeah. Nobody's better than nobody.
Let me ask you something. Absolutely. But what happens when, and I'm sure you've been there, where like, because listen, I want to hang out with all my old friends and everything, but as I climb up the ladder, not just money, mindset, everything, sometimes it doesn't work out that way because their mindset and everything, or they're like, must be nice. You start hearing that shit, or like you think you're better, and you know, I practice humility as best as I could. I stay grounded in gratitude. You can't bring everybody.
Yeah, you can't bring everybody. There's a lot of envy. You know, there's people will envy you. You know why? Because you're successful, and sometimes you don't. You can't. You got to learn to make the decision. You got to say, hey, you want to be with me? Be with me. If you don't want to be with me, that's your decision.
Keep moving.
Yeah, you keep on moving.
Yeah, because a lot of your friends, once you start talking about certain things that you're doing and how you're moving, they think you're bragging all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about new ideas.
Just excited. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where my life is now, and I want to talk about where it is in 5 years.
Or you're trying to bring them along too, just by giving them like you said,
Exactly.
they got to go get it. I know that. I've learned that. You can't just like, here, do it. First, it's easy. Now there's no value. They'll think it comes whatever. You know what I mean? So, but like it is, like what happens. I think what happens, at least for me, like through life and through my journey, you start flushing out the ones that aren't needed, and new people come into your
Correct.
life.
You people,
know what I mean?
But
Like,
they do it on their own too. It's almost like an employee, right?
Yeah.
At this point in my career, I don't really fire anybody. These guys fire themselves. When you show them the right way and you hold them accountable, you know, they're either going to get frustrated and leave or get better and get better.
well, you set a standard and a non-negotiable, right? The non-negotiable is this. The standard is this. It's not just like one. Like, this is my non-negotiable. Anything underneath this, not happening.
Right.
But our standard is this. And whether it's friendship, whether it's business, whether
it's up to the individual. If the individual wants to be with you, they're going to be with you. They're not going to be with you. They're not going to be with you. And I tell you, people got to be a little bit idiots. Somebody gave me, like, many times I got a lot of opportunity. And these individuals gave me the opportunity. I took it. I was not shy about it. I did my research and found out what this individual was all about. So, Knowledge, I always say, is power. And that individual opened his door to me and gave me that opportunity. And I wouldn't be here without those opportunities. Those individuals it's up to you. You want to get it, grab it. If you don't, move on. A lot of people are like that. It doesn't
Most people
matter.
are scared.
Yeah, they're scared. A lot of people would envy any successful person. A person would say, look at this guy now. He's driving around in a Mercedes or driving around in a Porsche. He doesn't talk to me. And that's not true.
It's not. No.
It's not true.
They did that.
They did that themselves. And and it's sad.
No, they make
It's
a movie
true.
in their own head, most of them.
Because anybody comes up to you and they want the opportunity,
Well,
you're like, bro.
Oh,
get
I'm
in,
always like
let's
that.
go.
But what, like, somebody was talking, like, what do they say? Oh, you think you're better than this? And I'm like, no, I don't. There's no way, man. I don't think
say
it.
that.
I don't sit there with it or nothing.
no.
But a lot of what you're saying is like, I hear you say yes to opportunity. Yes. And figure it out. What a lot of people get misconstrued is like they wait for the perfect opportunity, the perfect moment to have enough money. Like, explain to us a little bit. I'm sure every deal you had, you were just loaded with money. So
No, guys. Listen,
I say that very sarcastically,
I know
right?
you say a lot of people say that I came from money. I didn't came from fun.
Yeah.
I came from a single mother who raised me, who gave me all the opportunity, she gave me an education, and she learned to teach me to be a better man. Okay? And there were people that enter in my life throughout my entire career and say, kid, I'm going to teach you how to do this, how to make money, an opportunity. Now it was up to me to do it or not to do it.
Figure it out.
And fear is something that a lot of people suffer from. I say 95% of the individuals will always have fear because they say, well, if I have this $5,000, I may lose it.
Yeah.
By tomorrow, I'm not going to have that money. But you know what? If you invested that $5,000, that $5,000 could be $50,000.
Right.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, 2 years ago, I was playing golf. Last year, I was playing golf. So there was a stock, and my caddy was with me. His brother was with me. My caddy's a dear personal friend of mine, who I think is the smartest individual around because he's the type of individual that he wants to be someplace for his family. And I said to guys, I'm going to give you a stock tip. I said, this stock is at $18, $19 a share. The stock will go in a year, triple almost. And I say, if I own 20,000 shares of that stock, you guys should do it. So there was 6 people in that car. Only one person went home and bought that stock and bought like 3,000 shares of it. And now he has the last laugh because that money has tripled.
Oh, wow.
Because he had the cojones.
Yep.
Now, if somebody would tell me the same thing, which they did, and said, Jose, buy this stock. This stock is going to make money.
By the way, not all of them win.
Yeah.
They're not all winners,
They're
right?
not
Like,
winners. But
you know,
You're talking about the
take
W
the
right now,
risk.
but they're not all. But you got to hit a bunch of them so that you
Yeah.
hit something, right?
yeah, if you're not swinging the bat, you're not hitting the ball,
Yeah,
right?
but that's right.
So if you hit 6 out of 10 and they
Right.
all triple your money, you're sitting in a way better place than
This is a thing that people
check.
give you opportunity, and if you got the opportunity, you got to grab it and run with it. You know, so what? He could have gone out and bought 500 shares, put a little bit of money and made some money, but he did it. He said, you know what? If this guy's investing so much money in this stock, maybe I should do it. He did it.
Did you have a mentor, somebody you looked up to, or somebody that helped you?
I had many mentors, many mentors in life, and mentors are very, very important in life. Spiritual mentors are important. You know, the way I start my day every day, and I'm a person full of energy. I don't like negativity. I like positivity. And good energy.
I mean, we got along. Speaking my language. you
Good
know?
energy will get
I
you
don't think we've
anywhere.
ever had a bad conversation.
No,
It's always
no.
uplifting.
I don't think I've ever said the word energy more in my life than this year.
Yeah.
It's so important.
It's true.
Energy's good.
That's how we linked up. It was energy, and I didn't know him. He was just
Energy's important. You know, why would you want to be with somebody who's very negative, who's going to bring you down? So let's talk about energy. You asked me if I had a mentor. I had a lot of mentors in life. And many years ago, I had an opportunity to learn about religion. So I did a seminar, and I did an educational seminar on all different types of religion. I wanted to learn about all different types of religion. And I don't believe in religion, but I believe there is a God out there.
Yeah.
There's a mighty person. So I'll give you guys an idea how I start my day. In the morning, I meditate, and I pray during my meditation. I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. I try to think positive. I never think negative, because if you surround yourself with negative individual and you think negative, you will never be successful in anything you do. You can go out there and bake a cake and you're negative that the flour is not the right flour, that cake is not going to happen.
You lose before you try.
You lose before you try.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. But why are you going to surround yourself with negative individuals? You need good energy. And good energy keeps me going. Listen, I'm up there. And young people say, man, I don't believe you're so old and old. I say, oh, I'm younger than you. Age is that, numbers doesn't mean how old you are. It's how much energy. I can keep on going to midnight till 3 in the morning.
I've been with him. We've been 3 in the morning.
At 3 in the morning, and we go out.
still
And
go
the next
out,
morning,
yeah.
go out and work out.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I could party all night with my girlfriend. And so the next day, I said to her, sweetheart, I got to go. It's 5:30 in the morning. Where the hell are you going?
That's it.
Going to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm dedicated. And if you're dedicated, you're going to succeed in anything you do in life. And it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. I've had mentors, different spiritual mentor, business mentor. And I always say, I'm the type of guy that I read influential books. I read influential magazines. And I always try to learn something new every day. And I don't care how old you are. If you teach me something, you're 18 years old, you're teaching me something, I'm going to listen to you. Because to me, I learned something from, it doesn't matter. Just because he's 18 years old doesn't mean he doesn't know what's going on. He may know something that I don't know.
One of the things I noticed about you, right, and it's in a good way, is so like even when we were out in Dallas and we've been to other places, you hang out with a lot of people way younger than yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And listen, I think it's like, that's men and women, right? No, but what I'm saying is like, it keeps you young, it keeps you spirited.
Oh, yeah, keep my spirit going.
The discipline, like you want to learn new things. We went to Tony Robbins in Dallas together, right? And he was like, fuck it, I'm just going. I'm like, all right, you brought your son-in-law with you too, right?
Yeah.
Carl, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And like, he was the oldest guy there. Not that he's old, right? But it was like he's jumping with us. You know what I mean? Like I think I do that too. Like I got a couple of young kids with me all the time, and it's like I think it's just like you have to. At least I do. You know
It's
what
the
I mean?
vibrancy. It's
Again,
the energy.
it's the energy,
It's the
right?
energy.
Creativity,
Right, yeah.
As much experience as I have, they figure out new shit, whether it's technology. So creating that like circle of friends and people, I think it's very important. You know what I mean?
I say that 95% of my staff that works for me is under 45 years old. And they bring a lot of talent, and I listen to their talent, and I give them the opportunity to take it and run with it. And I like to surround myself with people who are creative, where I'm going to learn something from them. They're going to learn from me because I have done it.
Right.
So I want to hear the new energy. So what are we going to do to get to the next millennium? And I always believe that. Listen, I surround myself with you're 100% right. I say females, male, anybody who has great energy, I like to be with them. Negativity, you never get no one. Myself with.
So what I have a question. What was your best deal to date that you think you put together or you hit it on, And then I'm going to ask your worst too. So we got to hear both sides of it.
I'm going to tell you guys a story. You guys are going to laugh because a lot of people don't know who I am and what I'm about. I've been investing in companies for many, many, many years, but you guys will laugh. A friend of mine came to me, says, you want to invest in a women's lingerie business? I said, women's lingerie business? I said, yeah, women's lingerie. We're going to go to Colombia and you're going to invest in women's lingerie. I was in my 30s. I was a bachelor. Never had so much fun in my life. And
Wait, this is Colombia in the 90s?
This was
Different
Colombia.
Colombia than now. I just want to clarify that.
This Colombia in the 90s. That's right. In the 90s.
Different than tourist Colombia
What I
now.
see in Narcos, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cowboy hat, little plane land on the strip.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
I guess.
So I go to Colombia, and so I educate myself. A guy comes and says,
Sure you did.
and he goes, you manufacture the underwears for 50 cents to $1, and we're going to sell them for $25. Like, $25? Are we kidding me? That much markup? He says, yeah, you got to get models and nice advertisement and everything. I said, yeah, I'm in. How much guys you want me to write a check for? I'm in. So 3 of my friends, we went in, we bought this company. I don't know shit. All I care about was the dollar sign, and that's it. So I buy the company. We bought the company. We started. We're making money. Then different people started saying, well, this company is making money. It's like Victoria's Secret. We want to buy you guys out 3 years later. So I invested less than $1 million. I made over, in 3 years, double figures. And I went in. I had a great time with the company. I had a lot of fun. I met incredible people there. And I sold the company, and I kept on moving on and investing more. And hey, listen, there's a lot of companies that didn't make money. I invested in a children's sporting good. I lost $1 million in that. And, I have had owned bars to ladies' lingerie business to real estate, wherever I can
It
make
doesn't
a
matter
buck.
what it is.
Doesn't matter what it is. I'm not,
You don't discriminate against
I
the
don't
dollar
discriminate
sign.
the
I get
dollar
it.
sign. You make a dollar. And people, when I was younger, I was a street hustler. And people say, hey, Jose, you got $500 that you could lend me? I said, I got 500. You got to pay me back 600. What do you mean you got to pay you back 600? You want to borrow my money? Pay me back 600.
20%.
That's it. I made $600. I always had money in my pocket. But I never had the millions that I have. So I made, a hustle. If people come to you, guy came to me the other day, says, oh, I want to borrow $100,000. I say, yeah, $100,000 is $120,000. You got to pay me back 3 to 6 months. He says, okay, no problem. It's great. So, hey, you go out there, you're lending $2 million and you're making 20%. That's $400,000 for what? For a handshake?
Yep.
But
It's nice when you get paid, right?
it's nice when you get paid, but I always got paid. I never had a problem. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people are scared, and you can't be scared. If you're scared, you'll never succeed in anything. And when you say let's go back to the mentor. The reason why I wanted to go to Tony Robbins, I wanted Tony Robbins to give me that next plateau that I wanted to be in my life. What was I missing? And during that saga, and I'll be very sincere and I'll talk to everybody because a lot of people don't know me. I was very happily married for many years. And unfortunately, marriage didn't work out for me. And my wife and I, we went to separate ways. And I was separated for 4 years, and I was divorced for 2 years. And I was sitting on the couch, and I was saying to myself, man, I got to go out there, and I got to meet new people. And I said, you told me, Antonio told me, a lot of people told me about Tony Robbins. And the young lady who's my girlfriend now told me about him too. And she said, oh, you should go there. You should do it. I went down there. And I'm telling you, honestly, I got 200% back in return. And it was very inspirational because the energy in that room, I said, this is the energy that I was missing to go to the next horizon. And that's what I wanted. I said to myself, I was good. Now I want to be better.
You want to be great?
I want to be great as an individual, as a businessman, as a father, as a grandfather. That's what I wanted to be. So, it's important. People don't understand. Everybody needs a mentor. A lot of people say, oh, I know everything. You don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. The only person that knows everything is God, and that's...
a lot of people want a mentor or a coach for free and on their time, on their conditions, and on their right. A lot of people look, we're all three of us, I believe, we're very giving in our knowledge and everything. Right. But I've learned in the last year, which is whenever I give it for free, most people don't value it because they think it's just so highly available, it's easy for anybody to do, right? And it's the same for me when I go get information from somebody, a coach, a mentor, somebody. The good ones I pay for. and I pay a lot of money for it. And I always, now because I'm paying all this money for it and time and it's inconvenient, I make sure I get a return on it.
Right.
Because I'm like, fuck, I'm paying $100,000 for this shit. I better get something. I better go make friends. I better go connect. I better go follow up. That added pressure of doing it is vital. You know
Do you
what I mean?
feel good?
Of course.
You feel great.
Absolutely. But your network, everything, you set a new standard for yourself. But to touch again, like most people that, and listen, I'm on a smaller scale, but even people that want to invest with me and stuff, the majority of them are scared, right? They're like, they don't think about what if this takes off. They're like, what if I lose it? What if it doesn't pan out? And the possibility is there. But if you're going to focus on it, that's what's going to happen.
That's true.
If you're going to focus on like, it's going to be successful, it's going to do your research, figure out what the risks are. They want to eliminate all risks. That doesn't happen. Because if you do, there's no reward to it.
Listen, right?
And everybody would do it if that was the case.
Of course,
right?
absolutely.
There'd be no opportunity.
Life is full of risk. You could be right now across the street. God forbid, a car could run you over. So you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, tomorrow you can go and...
But you still cross the street.
you still cross the street.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's
You got somewhere to go.
got somewhere to go, right? Priority.
But I always had a problem that I've given a lot of opportunity to individuals to invest with me. And they said, nah. And when I make the money, they say, oh, you never brought me into the deal. I say, you're not my friend. What's
Jamie.
the problem? And actually, with the deal, you laugh at me. When I bought property in Jersey City, everybody laughed at me. When I made millions, nobody laughed at me. Everybody says, oh, you didn't bring me to the deal. And that's the problem. You know, you I always say, my father used to say, you have to have cojones. If you don't have cojones, you'll never make it in life. You know, if you're healthy, if you didn't make it, you still, you know what? I learned my lesson. Tomorrow I'm going to do it different. Now I'm going to get my money back, the money that I lost. And that's basically how it is.
I have a question. What was the name of the lingerie company?
I can't tell that.
Come on.
What do you got, 30-year NDA?
And the lingerie company is a Colombian company.
After the podcast, you can't put
But it was incredible. Guys, listen.
I bet you the fashion show is horrible.
The runway line was incredible.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to get tickets for that runway line.
He's like, no more investors in this one. I don't want nobody else.
I didn't have problems in getting investors for
Yeah, I bet.
for that company. You know, after I owned the company, everybody was, "Are you going to invite me to the next show?" Let me see. Let me invite you.
We were talking a little bit before we started and you said, you know, you're looking for the next opportunity, and it's in the Midwest. So you brought up Waco, Texas.
I think the next opportunity is going to be in the West. It could be Waco, Texas. It could be Dallas. It could be any place in the Midwest, Kansas City. It could be Utah. I feel that everybody has been focusing on the East Coast and the West Coast. If you go from Boston all the way to Florida, that whole corridor is congested already. Same thing for California. You go from Oregon down south, it's already congested. And I'm always looking for opportunity. I've had an opportunity in Waco that I'm right now working on that to see if it happens. I'm looking at another opportunity in Kansas City that I keep my fingers crossed. Like I say, I always looking for different opportunities because you never know what brings. You got to have an open mind in any type of business. That's why I say real estate has always been my incredible to me. It's been good to me. But right now, everybody says, oh, invest in real estate. The numbers are not there like it used to be. Now everything is a single digit. I'm looking for double digits investment. If I can't make 18% on my money, it doesn't pay for me to get up in the morning.
Yep.
You know, and that's important. And sometimes I may do a deal. I think the only deal that I've done this year was I invested in a company, and I'm not going to mention the name, but a young lady came to me. She goes, oh, I got this idea, and I want you to invest. And I said to her, I want 10%. She goes, I'm going to give you 5%. And I said, you know what? You're intelligent, and you're so close to me. I'm going to give you the money, and I'll take the 5%. But I know in the long run, I'll wind up winning in that case. But everything that I do is 10% and up.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay for me. You know, it takes money to make money.
I was going to ask you, actually, what keeps you motivated? You said you get up, you meditate, you go to the gym. Like, you have money, obviously. We're we're not opening the books, so to speak. But what makes you keep looking for these next deals? I mean,
I get the high. It's not about the money.
It's not money.
It's not money. Look, I said to a dear friend one time, I said, I never thought I'd be so successful in my life. I got people knocking on my door wanting to give me money, and I don't take that money. And they say, oh, I want to be your partner. And what makes me, the high that I get is accomplishing that deal. You know, you start from the bottom and you work so hard. There are deals that I've worked 2 years to get that deal. And then when you get the deal, you say, wow, look at the accomplishment I made. I did, and it feels good. And I said, the money's going to come later. And I said, wow, I did this deal. I don't believe that I made this deal happen, come through.
And the harder the deal, the better you feel.
The harder the deal, the better you feel.
The easy ones are like, you know what I mean? They're not going to pique your interest like
the
that.
harder the
Just
deal, the better you feel.
That's
Yeah.
it, sir.
That's true.
Hey, I want to, we talked a couple times about, I remember, talk to me a little bit about, or talk to us a little bit about like, well, the Walgreens, the Chases where you do commercial, like,
Okay.
I kind of knew about it. Our audience doesn't know about it, but
I am the chairman of a company called the Excel Group. We're a project construction management company. We, one of our major client is Chase, JP Morgan Chase. And let me tell you something. They've been very good to us for 20 years.
shout out Jamie.
And let me tell you, without Chase, I'm nobody, to be honest with you. I've got an opportunity for a lot of major companies. One of my other major company that we actually, they've been good to me for 20 years is George Comfort and Son. They're a big major player in New York City. They're developers and they're landlords and they're owners. They actually gave me an opportunity to come in with them to purchase a building together with them and invest in the property with them. But they've always been good with us. And I always believe that you're successful when you're transparent. Mm-hmm. And if you're not a pig, you will always make more money and you will continue.
Yeah.
And I say to Chase, they gave me the opportunity to expand my business from Boston all the way down to Georgia. And we have a very successful company now opened up in Georgia. And we're going to grow in Georgia, not only in the management, but we're going to grow in the acquisitions of buying companies there, buying real estate there. We're going to grow. There's a lot of potential in Georgia right now. And like you mentioned to me, Waco, we're going to look at Waco with a better. I just got back last night from Waco, and we're going to look for, I always look for opportunity. But my company for 30 years I owned is the Excel Group. We've been very successful. And I got to tell you, the only reason I'm successful is because I've been good to my employees. I got employees that are working for me for over 20 years. You got to give back. If you don't give back to your employees, you're never going to be successful in any business. And look, I get this opportunity to do a lot of different types of opportunity because I have an incredible staff. I pick up my phone and ask my staff, what happened here, what happened there? I always have an answer.
Yeah.
And we keep on growing. Every year we grow and grow. We grow 5%. And that's very gingerly. We survived during COVID. We're still here. A lot of people, I remember when I first opened my company, everybody told me, you're a minority. You're not going to make it. You're young. You're not going to make it. Nobody's going to give you an opportunity. Guess what, people? I'm still here 30 years later. I'm more wealthier than ever. And I'm going and going and keep on going.
Hey, so maybe what I was referring to, you were talking about, you know how you were telling me once, like, you'll buy the property, you'll build out a Walgreens or a Chase, and you have a 30-year, right? And then just like, it's still your building afterwards, right? Explain that.
Correct. Okay. So sometimes we buy a building, we get a nice tenant.
Or you build one out, right?
Yeah, we build one out with a nice tenant. And the secret of real estate, always in the retail, is to have your anchor tenant. You gotta have a supermarket, a bank, a 7-Eleven, or a Starbucks.
Yep.
And that's the success of any retail tenant. Residential, I don't do a lot of residential. I only own one property with residential, 180 units. And in the bottom is retail. And I've had invested in other buildings that you have a tenant, and the way you're making your profit or you're making your dividends is by rent. If you have a building, you buy a building. Let's say you buy a building for $100 million and you got a net lease, a tenant who takes a net lease, and that tenant's going to pay you rent for 20 years. That's what you call a cash cow. The money's going to come in. Unless they go bankrupt. They go bankrupt, you don't have no cash.
And you can borrow on that too, obviously,
Yeah, you
right?
could.
So any bank
Yeah,
you
you
go
could.
in, they're like,
Yeah,
hey,
listen.
Starbucks is here for 20 years, right? And they have a lease, right? You can bank on that.
Yeah, you got to be diversified. Yeah, people don't understand that. You buy a building, let's say for $5 million, and now you got the tenants. They go back and evaluate the building. Now that building's worth $10 million. So you can take out $5 million and buy another building, or take $5 million and invest in another.
But it's got to be like, it's a different animal when it's like, listen, I have that in residential, right? But when you have a commercial and a retail space and you have somebody that's there with like, you built it out. So you built it out, you bought the land, you built it out. Walgreens gives you a 30-year lease. You know what I mean? Cool. You're going to get that money every year, but also you could go to the bank, right?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like,
You
listen,
go to the bank.
I need this much because I have a 30-year
Yeah.
lease. That you have a contract
That's
there,
true, yeah.
and then you repurpose that for
And
something
that's the
else.
reason why I invest in commercial
Yeah.
properties. You go to commercial, you have your
Yeah,
tenants.
multiple ways to get.
Yeah, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Some tenants do 30 years.
Let me ask you this about Chase specifically. Do you see banks, are they building anything new, or is everything, what are they doing now?
Chase.
And how do you work with
I
them?
say all the banks. I got multiple bank clients, and they're renovating the banks because people want to go to a bank and feel very important. They want to see a beautiful bank, and they say, "Wow, look at this bank! It's
The
gorgeous."
stronger it is, the stronger the.
And you
They're
go-
playing to their ego,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
and it's an-
you have
Truly,
to.
I mean, that's what
Well,
it
it's a
is.
security blanket too. You go there and the windows are kind of shattered. You're like, I don't know if I'm gonna leave my money in here.
Yeah,
Right?
like,
You want
if you remember the old
institution.
days, they used to build these banks very like a museum.
Yeah.
And they had all this marble and all this brass, and you went in and you felt important.
It was the biggest building on the most important
Yeah.
block, right?
Yeah, always.
And
Yeah.
everybody-
Fifth Avenue, Bluefield, wherever it was,
Whatever
right?
it
Street.
was, and you went in
25-foot ceilings. and
That's right.
You're right. Gold.
You remember the Dime Savings Bank, and now it's Cipriani. You go there,
Yeah.
there. Well, wow, look at this building. Look at the ceilings. Incredible. I remember when I was a kid, and I started, people laugh. I used to get those cards they used to give in school, and you fill up the cards with nickels.
Yeah.
And I would go and tell my mother, take me to the bank, I'd deposit and get another card. And I used to make my relatives give me nickels and put it. That's the way
great,
I made
man.
my money.
Yeah. I remember those cards.
That's great.
You remember those days.
Yeah.
But we remember when you went into the bank, you said, holy
You were in awe.
shit.
You were like, you looked
Wow,
up like
this
it was
bank is
like a
incredible.
church.
Yeah.
So you see them all now renovating.
Oh, yeah. We renovate banks. I think I have renovated over 200 banks for Chase.
Wow.
And we don't only do retail banks. We do corporate work for them, and we do infrastructure work for them. We do whatever opportunity I get.
Say
I take.
yes.
And I say yes, but I never take an opportunity for granted.
Mhm.
I make sure that every opportunity we get, and I tell this to my staff, it has to be better than the last project.
Yeah.
And when you're better than the last project, you'll get business.
And they'll never tell you no.
Yeah, they will never tell you no because they know that they could count on you, and that's how I built my reputation. I always say the first three we break even, the next number four we're making some money.
Yep.
And once you get in there, you're doing the right job. I've got clients for over 20 years, and they call me for nonsense, but I do that. I go and I service them. You know why? Because you never know. That client may have tomorrow a $10 million project. That's
success.
it. You know, I bumped into a client the other day. She says to me, I said to him, you want a drink? He says, oh, we have a drink. And we talk and we catch up. How are your kids and everything? He goes, by the way, Jose, I got a project coming up for $7.5 million. I say, $7.5 million? He goes, yeah, I'd like you to do that project for me. But you know why? We did the last project we did for him 10 years ago. We did a spectacular job, and we gave him 200% attention.
Yeah.
And now he's going to give me the opportunity. You should never forget your last client. A lot of people tend to that. I'm the type of person that I do business with you. I'll call you every year. How are you? Let's go golfing. Let's grab lunch. Let's grab dinner. How you been? How's your kids? Everything. First in business, you have to have friends.
Yeah.
And with friends, you will make money. The right friends.
So what I've been saying, I think I said it last time too. I learned the phrase this year or whatever. It's like I do relational then transactional,
Correct.
right? So it's all relations. Then I don't do transactional first. It's pretty
Yeah.
much just like, just be cool. Just be transparent. That's what I am. I'm transparent.
Transparent.
You either like me or you don't.
Have
But
fun.
If we develop that relationship, other stuff will come all the time.
Have fun. I always say, if you have fun, you'll be successful in any business. It's incredible. A lot of people say they think that they call you, they're gonna make money, and I say no.
But you'll feel that over the phone right away. I do that too. Like when somebody calls, I already know they want something. You know what I mean? And I just feel icky about it. You know what I mean? No, and I don't mean just money.
No,
it could be
I
a
know
time
what you
hound. It could be whatever, right?
Right.
And it's because I'm not in that energy. I don't do it.
Not at the
Icky.
at the thought of it. You
I
know,
don't use
but you're
icky in a
right.
long word.
But it's true though. I mean, you get that feeling. That's
Right.
that energy.
Energy, of course.
It's good, better, and different. You feel
Great
it.
energy.
We all have these energies around us, you know, and it's
And you
good
have
or
to
bad.
be, you have to be protective of it. You have to curate it. You have to feed it. You have to like always move with it, right? That's why
Right.
we're always
Yeah,
moving
you
around
have
and
to.
talk to the same people. It's important.
You have to do that. You know, I always say if you got positive energy, you'll be successful in anything.
Yeah, my role. Look, I'm pretty sure we're all the same. Like my Rolodex is like, if I don't have the answer, I'll call somebody and figure it out.
That's right.
That's why it's always yes. It's not like, oh, I don't know. I have a couple. The one project I sent to you once, it was in I run him through Jose. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, what do you
In
think?
Bridgeport.
In Bridgeport, right?
Right.
And he's like, listen, I know he means it's good because he's like, hey, if you want, I'll partner with you. So I know it's
But
like,
you know
it's a great
it's a
deal,
great
right?
deal, right? Because he's got experience, right?
Sure.
He's put in the work. He says yes,
What happened with that?
but
deal?
they
Didn't work out?
They pieced it up. Yeah.
They couldn't
Yeah.
do it as three.
It was a
As
big
one
chunk.
unit.
I didn't make it happen. That's what happened. That's
You
the
tried.
truth.
You
I
try.
should have tried harder.
You gave it a good try.
But I'm looking.
will
I'm
next
looking
time.
at another one now in Hartford, a 12 unit, and I got a 15 unit. I'm buying right now, and I don't have the money, but I'm gonna figure it the fuck out.
That's-
But when you said the deal, like that's what gets me excited. Like I don't have the money. I'll figure it the fuck out.
That's it.
My back. I do like it. You know what I mean? Like I'll get money. Like I'm not worried about that shit. You know what I mean? Like. It's the moving parts. It's the figuring out. It's like you know Rubik's cube or Tetris, right? Like does this fit here? That's how my mind works, and I like to do that stuff. The more I do, the better I get. And listen, they're not all home runs,
No, they're
right?
not.
But I know like I've done some acquisitions where I'm like, but if I didn't do them, my fourth one would not be fucking right.
You got to
So
try it. If
my
you don't
mind
try
is
it,
beyond
forget
the
about
whole like don't do it. It's like do it and figure it out. If it doesn't work, you get another one. You get another one. Just don't stop.
That's true.
But you said the numbers are tougher today.
Yeah, numbers. It's not. Honestly, I look back 30 years, the type of money I was making 30 years, and I always say I invested that money very, very, very wisely. And people don't make that type of money no more. To make now a double digit, you gotta be. It's like playing lotto. You know, it's
You got volume. You got to do
value.
more.
You gotta
You
do
got to do
value.
more.
You gotta do a lot of value. You know, you have a business and your business is making $250 million, and people are gonna say, "Wow, $250 million! This guy's making a lot of money." And you told somebody, "I made 3%," and they look at you, 3%. What is that?
Yeah.
I said, 3%. You know, 3% of 2.5.
It's a lot on 2.5. 250. I'll take that all day.
That's not a bad number.
3%. But what I'm saying is that it's a lot. It's cross your T's and dot your I's.
It's more challenging. You have to
More
be
challenging.
You have to be more dialed in. Also, you have the competitive nature of like. I remember I would go to like county auctions with my mom once in a while to like look at buildings and stuff like that, and it was all with the newspaper. I'd have to wait for a Wednesday for it to come out, or I'd go to the courthouse. And now, so that means not that many people would be there.
Yeah.
Now, because it's
forget it.
online, you have like I went to an auction like a year or two ago. I'm like, why am I even here? Right? All the people that buy these types of buildings are out there. So the deals are there. It's more competitive, more challenging, but you have to do more where you could do a couple of them before and
But that's why you got to be very diversified. You got to look at all different types of
everything.
deals. Every type of deal. I look at a deal. I never say there's a good deal or a bad deal. People come to me every week, send me an email, and they say, I got a deal for you, Papa. And I listen to them, and I'll decide if I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. And there's a lot of deals that I said, nah, I'm not going to do it. And there's a lot of deals that I could have kicked myself in the ass because, hey, I should have done the deal. But the deals that I say I passed out, and then I find out a year later that company went bankrupt. I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, thanks God."
Yep.
You know, but it's I always say is that you have that instinct that you know because you've done it so many times. You say, damn, this is not going to work. That's not going to work.
But you could also only get good by doing deals.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
But everybody just thinks like they have to be great deals. They
No,
don't.
no,
It's
no,
the whole
not every
process
deal's
of
great.
making
That's-
the deals.
Like I tell you, there's a lot of deals I lost money. There's a lot of deals that I did a home run.
Yeah.
And there's deals that you say, oh, man, I hope it works out. And then 3 years later, you're making the money.
Yep.
You know, you may be losing money the first 3 years, but then all
Then it
of a
pops.
sudden, it pops.
But now you're saying you got to look further and wider because, you know, the areas are heavily saturated, right?
Yeah,
And
that's-
That's a fact. Even me, I'm in
In any
Watch
type of
got to drive
business,
an hour now.
hour and a half. I'm in Washington. Best deal I got though, right? So they're there. You just gotta look, like he said. It's because it turned into a like everybody's online. Like, oh, be an entrepreneur, do real estate, right? It's not for everybody, but cool. It's concentrated here, but it does push people like Jose, myself, and others to look where you would never look. And now there's even bigger returns
Yeah.
numbers over there. Especially when people are like, wow, you're gonna go over there? You sure? And everything. And it's like, yeah, I'm doing my research, I'm doing my work.
Right.
And you go and you look outside the typical markets.
Yeah, Georgia's definitely a hot.
Oh,
topic
Georgia's
of the
very
market,
hot. Georgia's very hot. Yeah, we got over 500,000 people moving to Georgia every year, and there's a lot of tech companies, and it's going to be the next Hollywood. I think 100%. They're going to control the film industry. You have major automobile companies here. You got Porsche there. You got Mercedes there. You got Kia manufacturing plant.
Banking too.
That's right.
Banking,
Mercedes moved to
yeah,
Georgia
yeah.
from Saddle River.
Yeah.
I forgot.
And,
Montvale.
and Porsche's there. They got an incredible racetrack. And they're building left to right. And you go to Georgia, you see all the cranes up, and you see a lot of big communities being done. I'm talking about 300 lots, 300 home lots. And the prices, 10 years ago, I remember, and I said, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I kick myself now because everything has tripled in prices. And people still moving there.
Well, there's still listen. I tell everybody, even though interest rates are higher, even though prices are, there's still money. I'm making money. You know what I mean? Like I'm probably making more money now than I did years ago. But because you have to like adjust to like what your business plan was before, right? So
Yeah.
like interest rates are. You just have to make sure it's a great fucking deal, not just an okay deal. Right. And so if interest rates drop and you can refinance, it's even better. But it's not dependent on that. I'm not buying buildings based on, hopefully it drops. Like there has to be cash flow right
If you're
away.
breaking even, you're making money.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the way I say it.
Yeah.
You own real estate and you're breaking even, you're making money because you still
Yep.
have liquid. And that's the bottom line. Liquid is your real estate.
So capital wise, do you borrow against your properties at this point more? Or you just have a group of investors? Like how does it
I'm
work
very
for you?
diversified. I have portfolios that I have money in those portfolios. I play the market. I have other businesses that give me dividends. I'm very conservative how I'm gonna, if I'm going to go buy a building, I say I have $5 million of JT in Morgan Stanley, and I'm making right now double digits, and somebody wants to come to me and says, hey, I want to invest, want you to invest $2 million. And I say, well, let me see. I'm making over there 15%. I gotta make more than 15%.
You're not gonna move it for 16 or 17. You gotta move it for 20.
So I'm gonna go do it for 20%.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go for it. A lot of people, you gotta always have your money working in different things. You gotta be you can't have a portfolio and say, look, I only own real estate. You can't do that. If I tell you the companies that I own, the real estate that I own, you say, this guy's crazy. And I said, you know what? This little company here gives me $100,000. This other company gives me $50,000 a year. So when you put everything in a pot, now all that profit that I make, I got to put it back to work.
Yeah.
And I always believe I say 25% of my money is to play. The other 50% is to invest. And the other 25% is to pay
Expenses.
expenses. And that's it.
Absolutely.
And if you got to have fun. If you're not having fun, you shouldn't be in business. I always say that.
Cool. Jose, listen, I think our time's up, man.
You got to ask them the question that you ask. I mean, what's the
Well,
next?
go ahead, you ask it, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
what's next, man?
Yeah.
What's the next 5 years? How old are you now? I'm not putting you on the spot.
Listen, I'm not.
You're full of life and energy.
I'm 62 years old.
Okay.
Big.
Okay.
You're
I'm
just
a
getting
baby.
started.
I'm getting started.
You're gonna live till 120.
You're in halftime, bro.
We have Dr.
have
D in
to-
Miami. I'm gonna set you up with Dr. D in
You're having
Miami.
a hot dog at the turn at the club right now, man.
You know, I'm going to tell you what I want to do in my next year, and I'm putting it out there to those people who want to come
Put it in the
invest
universe,
with me.
man.
I want to.
Did you hear him? Who wants to invest with him? He's opening up the door,
I'm
Jamie.
opening the door to everybody. I want to invest in Texas. I want to make Texas the next Miami. That's what I want to do. Forget about Miami. Let's make a next Texas, New York City.
You upset Phil with that.
Yeah. No, listen. Hey,
Brickle. I've
been in Miami. I invested in Miami. That's past.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking for the future.
I want the future. That's what I'm
And
about.
that's what I'm looking for. That, and I want to do something fun.
Mhm.
And you guys are gonna laugh. I want to invest in restaurants, high-end restaurants, and speakeasy.
I wish I knew people that had restaurants.
All right. If none of you guys were around, in the old days, I was a member of the Playboy Club.
The one in Vernon, they just sold.
No, in Vernon.
Oh, the good one. The one in the city.
Before that one.
Yeah.
And I always been the type of person that I was always a hustler, and I always wanted to be someplace. And I went there, became a member because I wanted to meet individuals. And I know in those days it was classy. Everybody had to wear a suit and a tie and elegant, but you met influential people. And those people opened a lot of doors for me, the doors that I have today. And that's what I think that's what we're missing now. We're missing a restaurant that you could go dressed up,
Members club.
elegant,
Yeah.
members club. You know, I belong to a half a dozen members club, and not only in golf but also in cigars, rooms, in other clubs, very high-end clubs. And the only reason I joined those clubs is because who's who goes to those clubs.
Yeah.
And I could be sitting there smoking a cigar, and a gentleman says, "Hey, what you do?" And I say, "Hey, this is what I do. Oh, we should get together. We should do a deal together." So why not? But that opens the door for me. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody, you got invest a little bit of money here, a little bit of money, and make yourself better.
Yep.
Get yourself out there. So those people who want to invest with me, my door is always open. I got good ears. I listen. But if you got cojones,
I'm in.
we can make
All right,
money.
come on, that's all I do.
We're
I
gonna
got
make money
cojones.
together.
We'll talk afterwards about that. Look, we've been saying, I'm gonna wrap up with this. Me and Jamie have been talking, and Tanya too, right? Like, that's what we need here, right? In this area. I know you're saying Texas too, but like, there's no, like, we gotta go to the city, or you go to
that's the
Miami,
truth.
or go to Dallas. There's
There's
nothing
no
here.
real social
Nothing in
club.
New
with
Jersey.
a
No, a
restaurant.
social club
Right. New
of
Jersey.
like individuals, not just money, but just like energy, mentality, the stuff we talked about. Right? Like
creatives.
where you want to go somewhere, like where are you going tonight? I'm gonna go here because there's just some cool motherfuckers there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and we're going for a cigar, but we might make a deal, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing like
The
that. here.
Cojones Club.
The Cojones Club.
Cojones Club. That's
we
it.
got what we got.
We're
in
gonna
Miami.
open up the
one you
Cojones
told us,
Club.
Carajo, what is it?
Para el carajo, that
Yo,
restaurant.
This guy gave me a restaurant. And a fucking gas station, like, top 10. Tapas, oh my God.
Wow.
Yo,
You needed the white boy to come up with the Cojones Club. You're
Yeah,
welcome,
look at
man.
that. Cojones Club. Yeah, that's what we gotta call it, the Cojones Club.
But you need that kind of place that you can
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
In
right?
the old days, yeah, social.
Talk
I
about
remember
ideas.
In the old days, and guys, I'm talking about 30 years ago. I used to go have lunch every week, like if I was going to church. I don't know how much time we have, but I'll tell you. But we used to go there, and maybe 30, 40 guys were hanging there. And says, "Hey, Jose, what you got? I got this. I'm gonna help you.
You shake
with this.
deals.
I make deals. We all make deals together. We all made money. Now everybody's there's no deals
Separated,
like
yeah.
that. It's not like it used to be.
Yep.
What happened to those days?
No, listen, the couple places that I do go to, it's like that because they're like, oh, you're here too, the mentality, right? Like you're kind of vetted. And then next you know, you're talking about deals and stuff because there's a sense of trust and relationship already.
Yeah. Because you got your foot in the door. You're
Yeah.
literally sitting there with them already, right?
So we got to push for that project.
We do.
Cojones.
It's a good spot.
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
Jose's going to finance it. It's 20%. Fuck it. We'll give him
20%.
some equity.
Why,
He just wants a table. I know him. He just wants to go there, get him a table. He don't want to call.
I
Just
just
walk
want to
in.
go there with my girlfriend.
You're
and that's
good.
it. She's happy. I'm happy.
That's it, man. Well, Jose, thank you. Anything
Likewise.
else you want to?
No, man.
That's
Thank
it.
you. This was
Thank you,
enlightening
gents.
for
No,
sure.
Jose, thank
I
you so much,
appreciate
man.
you
It's a
coming.
pleasure. Thank you for
Pleasure.
coming.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. We're gonna wrap up with that. Thank you guys.
See you on the
Until
next
the next
episode.
one. Chill.